Hey guys, Patrick Blunt with Greenhow Handmade Ironworks. We are here on a cold February day and we are going to be working on corner joints today, corner brackets. The gates that we are working on right now all have welded corners and welded joints. The whole frame of this gate is welded together. Certainly those are structural joints. So these brackets are not really for structural integrity, although I'm sure they add something to those corners. Mainly, this is just to kind of dress it up a little bit. Those welded corners, and you grind them down, finish them. They just look a little stark to me, and I just want to add just a little something. This also gives me a excuse to add in some rivets. So each bracket, front and back, will be held on with a total of 4 rivets. Which is a great, decorative element, I think. These brackets, they're not super fancy. They are 3/4 by 1/4 inch stock. And all I'm doing is drawing a taper on them, much like a taper you do for like a beveled scroll. You bladesmiths would know, like drawing a point down, just kind of a one-sided taper. So just a one-sided taper, and then I'm just curling the end back just slightly on each side, and then I am fullering it right in the center, and then bending that into a right angle to make a corner bracket. And I've got 20 of these to make, so we don't really have that many. The only difference that I am going to make in the ones that I make next from this sample piece is I'm going to make my fuller a little bit deeper so that I get a nice circle here, and those 2 little edges will kiss, which I like. The taper that I made on these, the first taper that I made, I liked it. I traced it on my table and I marked it off of center and traced that taper. So I know exactly where I need to taper all these to. So I'm going to taper every single one of these and match them to that taper, and then they're all the same. I want these brackets to be extremely similar, if not identical. So that's how you do that, is you just try to make checks and balances on everything so that everything's checking off. So once we get all of these made, we will then get our gates back on the table, and I will start marking everywhere we need a hole drilled and start drilling all of those holes. So we're going to need holes for all of the pickets, which are going to be bellied pickets, just like those well, y'all don't know. I did a bunch of bellied balusters for this job. If y'all follow me on Instagram at Greenhow Handmade, look back in my feed, you'll see a house that's got a bunch of bellied baluster railing. These are going for, so we'll do those bellied pickets, and then we get to do all the snub end scroll, and all the infill stuff comes after that. But I want to get all of this kind of stuff done before we start putting anything else on this gate or in this gate. And we're going to get the solid panels on as well. So I'm rambling, no time to loaf, corner brackets, let's go. All right guys, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to center punch that center mark that I put on there in the chalk, because as soon as I stick that in the fire, that chalk's coming off, and now I can still know where my center line is on that. With the center punch, it is a good idea to be what I call a one-hit wonder. So stick it on there, pop it once. If your hole isn't deep enough or you want it deeper, stick it back on there and pop it again. Don't set it on there and go whack, 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 because the center punch will bounce, and it'll bounce all over, and you'll end up with 3 or 4 different punches, and you won't know which one to go with. So set it down, pop it once. If you need to make it deeper, set it there again, pop it again, okay? All right, so now this will go in the fire. I'm gonna get this in hot. We'll draw that taper. Then I'm gonna do my other taper on the other side, and do my little curls, and then very last we'll fuller right there where that center point is, and then bend this into a right angle. All right. Flip it on its side. You're going to the thickness. We're gonna try to keep that thickness the same. I'm just trying to pull that tip down in a nice gentle curve. About what I want right there. I'm going to check that to my drawing and make sure it's the same. If it's not, then I'll make it the same. If it is, then we can move forward. All right, that last one matched my drawing, so now we flipped it around. We've heated the other side. We're going to do exactly the same thing with that side. Eyeball it, just make sure that both sides are roughly the same. Check that to your drawing. Check that to my drawing. If it matches, then we're ready to do our little curls. All right, now we're ready to do our little curls on there. We're gonna come right here on the tip of our horn, and we're just gonna start feeding that over. See you get off, just try to correct it. That's all we want right there, just a little curly. Do that with the other end. Then we'll bend this sucker in half and have us a bracket. All right guys, now we're going to fuller that center mark. This is my bottom fuller. It's just some 5/8 bar and some 3/4 bar on this side, just welded to a piece of square tubing. Goes right in the hardy hole. And then I can use that to fuller on. So that's how I'm gonna fuller that little center mark, and then we'll bend it into a bracket. All right guys, so we'll come out of the fire, we'll find our center punch. A lot of times you can scrape that bar with the back of your hammer, and the little slag will catch in your center punch. You'll be able to see it a little easier. We'll fuller it here. It's a good idea when you're fullering to be a one-hit wonder again. Go ahead and start getting it marked out with one hits, and then you can really start to speed up a little bit. There's my center punch right there. I'll line that center punch right up on my fuller. Flatten that out right there where it kind of fish lipped on me a little bit. Clean it up. We'll get another heat on that. We'll go ahead and bend it in half. Let's see if that's going to give us the that little open kissy thing that I like. All right, we're gonna come right here on the horn. I'm putting that fuller right on the end of my horn. We're just gonna tap it over. Gonna want to bend on you, flatten it back out. You see that little opening it gave me there? I like that. All right. Now, most of the time I take this back over to the layout table and lay it down, make sure it's all flat and good. You get a square on it. Ooh, went way too far. So, you went too far. Set it there. Tap it back open. I opened it up too much. Fiddle and fool with it until you get it right. We'll try to flatten it out, straighten it up some, which might be my problem. That is almost perfect. Just a little bit. I think that might do, donkey. And there we got a bracket. All right, I'm gonna make 20 of those. Hey guys, so we got all of our brackets made, right? But I made a blunder in my planning, and I'm going to go over what that is here in a moment. But I just wanted to say, anybody who's taken a class with me has heard me say to them probably a bunch of times, be conscious of what you're doing. Think about what you're doing. Be conscious of what you're doing. It's real easy to make a stupid mistake, and then that stupid mistake costs you, hours and hours and hours trying to fix it or correct it or whatever. Here, the stupid mistake that I made didn't cost me any time. I caught it in time to be able to kind of correct what I was doing, or at least not do extra work that I didn't need to do. And that mistake was, as I was sitting here forging out these brackets and looking at my drawing and looking at the gates, I realized that so this is a drawing of the bottom of my corner of my gate. This is a piece of 1 inch by 2 inch flat bar that runs along here. This is the very bottom of the gate. This is the side rail that goes up that way to the top of the gate. Now, I'm putting bellied pickets in here. This one I'm just using for, just so to kind of give so we got something to look at here. Obviously the offset on this is way more than we need, because we don't need any offset on these. But they're gonna hit right here. Now, if I used one of the brackets that we were forging earlier as forged, you can see I don't have anywhere for that to go. I've made that too long right here. I can't go underneath. I guess I actually could go underneath, but my little tip comes down there. I don't really like the way that looks. It looks kind of crammed and rushed. So what I have done is made these brackets to go on the top, and the two brackets that'll go on the corner I just did one side of them, and I left the other side square. And And what we'll do is we'll actually cut this off about right here. This will just get hammer textured down here, and then we'll just get one rivet in the bottom, and then we'll get 2 rivets in the side. I think that'll look actually really nice. Probably better than having, you know, that whole thing on there. I really think that's going to look nice. So the next thing to do is to cut these brackets down. I'll probably wait until we get some holes on here. Actually, no, I probably will go ahead and snip one of those and do a hole in it so I have some holes to mark, a bracket to mark by, and then I'll drill all those brackets exactly the same as the test one. But first I've got to get one of the gates back up on the table, line it back up with this drawing. My drawing's getting faint, so I'll probably need to go over this and redraw some of these lines. Get the gate up here, get it lined back up, and I can start marking holes, because I'm going to drill all of the holes that these are going to go in. I'm going to drill all the rivet holes for the panel here. I'm going to drill all the holes for the pickets at the top up here. So all those holes have to get drilled before we can go any further. That is going to be another video. I'm going to call it right here for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching this. I hope you learned something. This wasn't the most you know, educational video, but hopefully you found it, you know, at least entertaining in some way. Please do follow me on Instagram at Greenhow Handmade. Go check out my website if you'd like to see some of my other work, greenhowhandmade.com. If you're interested in taking a class, that's where we put our classes. Just click on the Blacksmith Classes page and click like and follow on this video. Check out my other content. So thank y'all so much, and we will see y'all next time.